That's not the right channel. If
Check out our OnlyFans.
for only $6.99 a month.
It is Ben and Jeff do OnlyFans
Hashtag no respect.
for $6.99
Ourselves.
a month. Show our buttholes for $6.99 a month. So it's
What
like,
a life to lead.
so it's like less than that. It's like, I don't know, whatever it is.
Have some
80 cents a
respect.
day. It's not even 80 cents a day.
You could feed these buttholes for 80 cents a day.
Where's that,
Brisk?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Mastering Mediocrity Music Reviews. I am Jeff.
I'm Ben. That's Gunner.
And we are here today to celebrate the album A Night at the
Opera.
by
Blind Guardian. But before we do that, we're going to do a shot. I forgot to bring up my one drink, so we're going to do your
That's fine.
drink again.
It's good stuff.
Your Matthew McConaughey drink.
I don't always drink bourbon whiskey, but when I do, I drink a brand that I actually put my signature on. I'm doing a very bad job of being
What are
Matthew
you saying?
McConaughey. It doesn't matter what I'm saying, Ben.
Was that even the Matthew McConaughey impression?
No, I wasn't going that far with it because it would just be totally terrible. So, in any case, here we are.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mates. Oh, mate. You probably noticed by now, but our new mainstay, Mark, is not on the show with us today, and I just wanted to make sure that he knew that we were displeased with him,
Yeah.
even if it was his wife's birthday.
These things happen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Once
we
a
know
year.
where your deck of cards lies now.
All right.
We're here for Blind Guardian anyways. So
Yeah, that's right.
We took our shot.
Another thing.
It is good.
That's another
This is
thing.
good stuff, right? I still think it's good.
I didn't like it as much as I did
Oh,
the
man,
first
I'm still
time,
loving it.
But I do like it,
I feel like you take it and forget it,
generally.
which isn't necessarily a bad thing with bourbon whiskey, because a lot of times it just like
That is
slaps
true.
you in the face.
That is true.
All right, so Blind Guardian, where are they from?
These cats are from Germany. So this is German power metal band Blind Guardian, and this album was released in 2002. It is named after the 1975 Queen album of the same name, A Night at the Opera, which is, here according to Wikipedia, it says it's named after a Marx Brothers film. So how about
Okay.
that? Going
Yeah.
further into it, this is just like the top line of Wikipedia. It says, this album continues a stylistic change for power metal into a more progressive sound with multiple overlaid vocals, choirs, orchestral keys, and guitar leads, and less emphasis on powerful guitar riffs and heavy rhythms, which, is perfectly evident. And as a result, drummer Toman Stauk would leave the group, citing dissatisfaction with the direction the group was going in. So, which brings me to real life, and 2002 I hadn't quite heard of Blind Guardian yet. I think it was
No.
2003
Yeah.
is when we got into power metal.
Senior year and freshman year of college is when we
So,
started listening to them.
Junior year of high school, and this is Roy. Junior year of high school is when I first found Rhapsody. Now they're called whatever the fuck, Rhapsody of Fire, or Rhapsody in Flames, or something like
Right.
that. They had some sort of legal issue with the name Rhapsody, which I just still think is fucking hilarious.
Do you think it's because of Queen? No.
No, I'm
It's
talking about
Bohemian
Rhapsody.
But did they? Yeah.
No,
what
it was,
would?
I think the music company Rhapsody. There was a music company called Rhapsody.
They said we're in the same industry. Like
yeah,
you really
like
have to
it's-
change.
I'm not
to
sure what
something else.
it was. Something under the music umbrella. I'm not sure what exactly.
Fair.
Anyway, so they were the first band that I heard, and then pretty much Blind Guardian was the next big group. And I remember buying this album 2003, 2004 in a mall in Kentucky, in Somerset, Kentucky.
Okay.
I saw this album, I was like, no shit. And so I bought it, And I remember listening to it on my grandma's computer on these shitty speakers on this shitty desktop computer and just being like, oh my God, this is blowing my mind. And I think that goes this was probably what my problem with the album is, and I'll just kind of get right into this.
Yeah, no, I want to do it that way too.
Is these songs are like 5 minutes long, 5+ minutes long. So long, and I'm like, this is a young man's game. I don't have the time to listen to a 6-minute song.
Well, especially if you're not going to present me with anything too terribly new throughout that 6 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Like,
exactly,
you're just carrying the same tone of the song.
Yep.
For longer to fill time. Yep. Effectively, to me, that's what they do.
Yeah, a lot of it is. I think I agree with that. I would totally agree with that assessment. And so, a lot of these songs by minute 4, I'm over it. And some of the songs I'd be 2.5 minutes in, and I'd be like,
oh, dude, there is literally a song that I'm like at 2:22. That should have been the song.
Yeah, it's like I can. Okay,
I think I know what song it is too.
I don't know. I don't think I marked it. Yeah. I may have, but it was like, I could understand doing the chorus again or something like that. Maybe get you to that 3.5 minute mark. But by then, get out. But that's because I'm most of the time I'm listening at the gym, and so I don't necessarily want a song that's going to take 3 minutes to build up to the first chorus. Some songs a lot of songs I'll give them 2 minutes. Not give them 2 minutes, but I'm cool with that. I understand it. But like every song, takes longer, and it progresses to the longest song, which is fine. But because it's my favorite Blind Guardian song, and it's in my top 5 favorite songs. Like,
this is
nonsense. And then There Was Silence is one of my favorite songs of all time. But overall, like you said, kind of like what we're saying here, I think each song just suffers from being a little too long, which is why my scores are lower, because I'm trying to think about it objectively.
I don't know that I...
But I know 17-year-old Ben totally disagrees with me, because when I heard this album for the first time, I mean, it was like...
It was a pivot.
Yeah, like, it was like face melting, like, wow, I mean, you can do so much.
Yeah. But they don't.
They don't.
They could do so much.
Well, there's just like a ton of different things. It's just like, so it's very different. Like it says, this is the last album featuring that drummer, and they replaced him with a guy who's like super competent. And it's funny now to think that guy's been in the band just as long as their original drummer was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. By this point, but he has like a certain style of kind of very bombastic sound or whatever, and
yeah,
and
that's what I mean. There's a lot of ripping. I mean, he just goes at it full bore for a very long swaths of time. And unfortunately, in signatures that are reused quite a bit throughout the album.
Yeah,
and it's like one of my complaints.
But like it says, he was I don't know if he was phoning it in, but citing dissatisfaction with the direction of the band, which this album is very different than some of the previous stuff. It's similar to Nightfall and Middle Earth, but that was a concept album or whatever. But their earlier albums, their first 3, 4 albums or whatever, or the early shit's like straight speed metal.
It's pretty thrashy.
Yeah.
Their freshman album especially kind of reminds me of Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
It's just really thrashy, kind of experimental feeling. Whereas this album, there's definitely a direction they were going. And I did it a little bit different than you. Yeah, I actually wanted to put my thoughts into a pros and cons list.
Okay, let's hear it.
With the first thing, I also want to just like put this thought into an envelope and send it out.
Okay.
I was concerned about touching this album because Blind Guardian to me is also like a pivotal sound where I thought this was just so fantastical. In the sense of like it was,
when we were listening to
it was
in the
theme. The themes were very like Middle Earth, very fantasy, and
which is like shit we were into.
And their sound is foreign. I mean, it is a German singer, and there's musical signatures that I had never really been introduced. You had played Rhapsody, and that was just like way too far different for me.
Rhapsody is like a fucking thing.
But now it's not as unpalatable as it was to 17-year-old Jeff. Like, but when I heard this one, I was like, it entered a crossroads of that kind of harder metal sound, but at time signatures that were a lot faster than what we were listening to. Because like around then, you're kind of in the grunge scene. There's a little bit slower hard rock going on.
Like new metal was coming
new metal
out.
with Korn and technically
and we were
Fred Durst.
and we were really into Metallica at the time.
Yeah,
like really into Metallica.
Yeah, so
Like almost
this was
exclusive. Like
this is
honestly, Rhapsody was like the first thing that. This is because that was before Dragon Force. I mean, Dragon Force was out, but they hadn't made it to the States yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least not in any real significant way. So when I first heard Rhapsody, Knight Rider of Doom, that was legitimately the fastest thing that I had ever heard.
Yeah, and it's fast.
But
it's not the fastest thing now.
No, right, exactly. But then that like opens me up to it. Totally, like it was.
You
like
pushed the envelope pretty far, and
like,
then so Blind Guardian was like that step back that was logical.
But it was like the next step because at the time these guys were like the fucking
progenitors.
These were like the head dudes in power metal, because this, like I said, was 2003.
Yeah, I mean it's widely agreed that Blind Guardian is a forefather,
right?
And
but back then,
it was a unique sound.
You don't realize it.
Yeah,
we didn't realize it at the time because we came in 2003. But Blind Guardian's first album was what, like 1988 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So in my head, it's like, man, these cats have been around for 15 years. That's like my entire life almost.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're coming into something that exists, that's already fully developed.
But then you live another 15 years.
And you're like, oh my God, those guys have kind of passed that mantle on, and now it's like fucking Sabaton and Powerwolf and all these other bands or whatever. But it's just interesting to look back on it, and like this album just takes me back to like a totally different time in life. Like Blind Guardian is one of those bands that I just don't listen to anymore because it takes me back to a time in life that...
It feels a little childish to go back that far to a degree, but there it is, and it's pretty awesome.
It is.
But it has its problems, and like I said, I broke it down into pros
let's hear it.
And cons, and it still interplays to what we're talking about.
Okay, let's hear it.
So when you hear it, it's got strong, unique vocals. It's a foreign voice and so much overlaid vocals. I'm glad they pointed that out on Wikipedia because it is.
Oh yeah,
it's still tasteful, but it's almost comical, and it becomes grating to the soul almost. It almost each individual song is in and of itself still unique in the pool of music that exists today. Even.
Yeah. But it's very stylistically similar to this album. Everything is very similar.
Yeah, the whole album is like the same song.
I know what you're saying.
And they prove that. They prove it in the last song, the song that you like the most. And then there was silence. Like, they made a song 14 minutes long that is the same song, but still keeps your interest. And you're like, wow. That's what the whole album is. Up? No.
Okay.
But, I mean, you hear a lot of it.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, this whole album is the same. It's so, like, what is it? The Knights and the the Maiden and the Minstrel Night. Like, that's probably the most different song in the album.
Yeah, every once in a while they'll throw out one of those kind of, like, real minstrel-y songs, There's another one that I really like.
Very medieval minstrel style, but with their sound. Like
they always do. They always start out stripped. I say stripped, but very medieval minstrel-y. And then the next verse, they kind of make it a little bit more Blind Guardian, and then a little bit more Blind Guardian, and then by the end it's just like a straight Blind Guardian.
Yeah,
doing it.
But that one is very subdued. Cool. Particularly, but all right. So we got the strong, unique vocals, and it has very impressive instrumental interactions. Like you said, the build-up can be very good, and everybody's singing, and the drums and the guitars, they all come in beautifully. Like it's a very cohesive sound.
Oh yeah,
and that's what I like about it. So
By
again,
this point, these guys are have really matured. I think Nightfall and Middle Earth was like a real changing point for them and in what they could do musically and stylistically. And this really feels like a natural from that album to this one really feels like a natural step almost.
yeah, I would
But
say so.
but it's very different than the stuff that they were doing. And honestly, after this,
It's not very, very different though. You could see the makings, like the song structures were there, but it was just a thrashier sound with maybe the single vocalist and a couple like.
I get you.
Yeah, I would say again, they're also like I think they're kind of forefathers of the hardcore scene where you kind of have the main singer and then like a guy like. Obviously, they do it as more of like a chorus in this, but that wasn't really around in the early 2000s otherwise, and they were doing it back in the 90s. Yeah, very early 90s. But,
I get you.
Unique musical signatures. The drums, the guitar, all of it is very unique. It's put together in a way that you haven't heard at this point in time.
Yeah, they just all have a very unique style.
Yeah,
playing, like drummer. I loved him as a drummer. He was so good.
I think the drums are
booming.
The drums are very impressive.
Mm-hmm. He was great. He was a great drummer, and he went on to be in Savage Circus after he left. Nice. He was in Savage Circus.
Okay. And then I put if you want a sonic assault, this is a go-to album. Like you're gonna be hit hard the entire time, except for maybe a Maiden and the Minstrel Night. Like that's not too hard, but it ends up kind of hardish at the end.
Yeah, it's a nice break. I'll say that.
All right, so cons, the bad things, and I have more like feelings about them, but like the sound layering, that sounds cool in production, but not so good live. All right, so I was very impressed with Blind Guardian when I first heard them. Their albums are great, and now okay, I only saw them live once, but then you're like,
you've only seen them once?
Where? Yeah, yeah, we saw them in Cleveland.
I was gonna say I know I've seen them in Cleveland and then in North Carolina, but I feel like I've seen them 3 times.
Okay, maybe you have.
Maybe. Go on. I'm sorry.
But so they're just very underwhelming live. I remember just like I was like, this isn't what I signed up for because you can't layer 10 voices in
some of that
unless
stuff.
you bring an entire chorus.
Yeah,
so it just doesn't sound the same live, and it was a little bit more underwhelming. And then maybe at that point the drummer wasn't with them for their live shows.
When we saw him, he had already
moved on.
He had already gone on. Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe that guy wasn't as good, so he had to do a little bit different type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a really good drummer, but yeah, like it's somebody else trying to play
what they were doing before. Yeah, the muscle memory is just a little bit different.
Right. Yeah, it's just like hey, he plays a different style, or not a different style. We both play heavy metal, but he has a different style of playing. Like there are things that he does naturally that this other cat just doesn't do. So the drums probably don't sound quite the same, but. I liked it. I mean, I don't mind him. He's a perfectly capable replacement. I'm not trying to shit talk the cat because he's really good and he's obviously been with him ever since. So that's a testament to him as a player and obviously as a like probably just being a bandmate. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not trying to shit talk the guy.
No, we're not getting that.
They were just big shoes to fill, sort of thing.
I agree. So another con, the guitar sound. In general is
unique.
It's unique. Like there's one guitarist.
They got 2.
There's 2, yeah, but one guy is either doing like power chords.
Oh yeah.
And a little like dead riff.
Yeah.
And then there's the guy that's like constantly seeking the high range, and he's just there the whole time. But yeah, we gotta talk about that intro too. And I just I don't need that all the time. Do it part of the song, but it's in most cases it's all the time. Yeah, all the time.
He's usually playing a lead, guitar following the melody.
Or
something.
And it's just it's almost grating.
I feel you.
I don't want it there as much.
Yeah, I like I said, I got sick of some of it. Not sick of it, but.
And then so then the last point is kind of funny, just because I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm going to say right now, but the constant double bass and drum sweeps. It is too much, especially with the high note range. Everybody's going full bore so much in this album. Like, it's challenging to listen. It's an hour and 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
And the songs are too long. And you're just like, man,
that's what I'm saying.
I gotta go brush my teeth with some different songs.
Yeah, like that's what part of me was saying. Like this is like a young man's album. Like I just can't do it. There are a couple of songs that like stand out. But overall, the first time I listened to it again, it was nice to kind of like walk through memory lane.
Yeah.
It was nice to walk through memory lane, and it was like that. There's a reason I don't walk down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with the album. And this album suffers from my personal life. You know what I mean? Like, it suffers from being associated with it. With the exception of, and then there was silence. The rest of the album is just like, it just takes me back to a time that I don't think about anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair. Let's start hitting it up.
All right.
And let's try to power through this as much as we can.
That's fine. I don't have like a ton of things. I can talk about each song probably
I know, that's the
bit,
problem.
but like, I don't have a ton of things written down.
You want to do a shot real quick?
Yeah.
Let's do a
been
shot.
kind of thinking about it.
We'll do our shot and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Or we can start talking about it while we pour.
But yeah, like...
Start us off.
Alright, so Precious Jerusalem. This is probably not the way I would have started this album out. I think it's a cool song, but I was never a huge fan of it. You know what I mean? And I still don't love it. It still just doesn't do much for me. Like,
okay, give me the score.
Even just going down nostalgic lane, you know,
I can see that.
hit it, but I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Like you said, this song introduces you to what this album is about to sound like.
Yeah.
And
except for I think it's a little bit harder.
It is a little bit, but you know, generally speaking, like you said, tons of double bass, tons of just power chords, tons of fucking lead guitar following the melody, a kind of unique guitar lead melody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
You
but
do get a little bit of a Middle Easternish sound.
They do kind of hover around,
but it's not in your face,
there.
which Sabaton can kind of do with the regional songs.
Yeah. All right, let's do this shot. Ready?
All right. Cheers, mates.
Oh, we said mates again.
Mark. Getting a little harsher.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting a little closer to the end of the way.
Sitting out.
Okay.
Going in
yeah.
the cooler.
So, I mean, I say it at the beginning already. The song's too long.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they go full bore, and it is one of the harder-ish sounds. It's actually a little bit more of a modern sound than some of the other songs are. Well, than most of the songs are. But there's a couple moments in the rest of the album where you do get what you would recognize even now as a more modern signature. Mm-hmm. But it's very loose, and they discard it quite quickly in some cases. This song's all right. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Yeah. I just like this one because it is hard. And what you notice in this song that comes up later as you start listening is the distorted guitar. The guy that played rhythm got downplayed. Like, that guy had a shit job. I'll be honest. Like, I don't think that rhythm in this album is present enough.
It's not heavy. It's not, I was going to say heavy,
and this is out
not on the forefront.
Yeah,
I feel you. I totally agree with that.
Right.
I would say with all my scores, the low ones, you could probably chalk up to not bad memories or anything like that, but just, you know, you could probably add 1 or 2 to it. You know,
I know, like, I know that there's no song for you on this album that's actually a 4.
Yeah, like,
it's on a different scale for us.
And
maybe it's not a great album for us to actually review.
No,
there's a lot of personal emotions.
I was listening to it and I was like, why did I put... I know why I put this album on here, but it's just like, I don't listen to Blind Guardian anymore.
It's precious. That's why I say I wrote. I was like, I don't know if we should touch this album, but like we have to. We're pros now. Yeah. So
literal professionals.
There's like for me.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This album.
What did you give that song?
I give it a 7. Okay. But I'm gonna tell. We'll get to the end. All right.
We'll get there.
So, Yeah, it's an alright song. 7 out of 10. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's hard.
Do you have anything else to say about it?
No, let's
Okay.
continue on.
Okay.
Battlefield.
Battlefield. All right. I want to start with this because I always remember you liking this song.
Fucking love this song. Yeah. Why don't you like this song?
I just never liked it as much as you.
Dude, this song is.
But I do like this song. That's
This
what I'm
is-
saying. Like this song, I gave it a 6. And
This is.
And I'm like,
This
Jeff
is
is
one
gonna-
of their best
I
songs.
was like, Jeff's gonna fucking kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you.
No, I know, but
I get it.
what I say? I think it has like a great epic opening. Not the I can't hear it in my head now. But there's like a kind of a twiddly part that opens it. Not that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't hear it. In
Middle. It's medieval in
Yeah.
nature.
But then the part where the actual heavy metal or the metal Blind Guardian kicks in is like really cool
Yes.
and is really epic. And then I said Battlefield. I was like, unfortunately, it's like 2 minutes too long. If it stopped at 3.5 minutes,
Not this one.
This
Not
is
this
one
one.
this is one where I think about it and I'm like, I really like it. This one nostalgically, I love this song.
Yeah.
But if I think about it, it doesn't change much musically. And there it is. I hear it now. Yeah. I hear it now. But it doesn't change much. You hear that melodic theme throughout, but it just, if
You're wrong.
I know I am.
It's an 8.5 all day
I know.
long. Man, this song is great.
Listen to Jeff on that one.
It is. It's different than the rest of
Don't
the
listen to
album.
me.
It's so good.
It is really,
But it's
a
not
really good
different.
song.
But it's a great song.
It is.
Like 6 is downplaying it. This is
Is
one
that
of their
what you
best
gave it?
songs.
A 6?
No, you gave it a 6. I gave it an 8.5.
Oh yeah. 6 is totally downplaying it. It's at least a 7. It in no other world. Only in my fucking
Weird world.
in my ruined.
But in the
17-year-old
discography of Blind Guardian, like this is one of their better songs to me. This
Okay.
one is iconic to me. It stands out. I mean, I think
hear
it's
you.
iconic in time.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you. We just have.
I don't know why I like this song so. I mean, I know why. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a
It's,
really good
fucking
song.
hard.
Yeah.
It is
I
hard
think
as
there are
shit.
other
And then they do
songs
this
of theirs.
break, and they're like, "Don't you hear me crying?" And like,
Yeah.
and I was just like, because this one actually is very biblical in nature.
There's a lot. There's
A
a
lot of it is.
A lot of their stuff. I say a lot of their stuff, but really, I stopped listening to them. I listened to their next album that came out after this. I can't remember what it is. A Twist in the Myth.
Yeah.
But after that, I kind of stopped listening to them because I joined the Marine Corps, and then
I'm actually
stopped following them.
not ever going to say like that this band is something I'll listen to a lot ever. Like, and I haven't. It's the same way. It was an introduction. It was a gateway drug to what metal could be.
Mm-hmm.
But they themselves aren't that great. They're not terribly popular like the new power metal bands.
yeah,
They missed their mark. Like their place in time is wrong.
It is what it is because they came out as like a speed metal, thrash metal style band, and then became a power metal band, exploring what they want, their different musical interests and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just a victim of when they came out.
No,
You know what I mean? Not a victim.
If they're a
but
victim of anything, they're a victim of the vocal styles that they chose because everybody sounds like the lead singer on purpose, and I don't think that's a sound that's palatable to the majority of the population, and that's why they're not popular.
There's a great documentary series. I can't remember the name, but it was by that cat that did the Iron Maiden Flight 666 DVD, and there's like a history of metal, and there's a power metal episode, and they talk about Blind Guardian. There's a nice little they probably talk about Blind Guardian for 15 minutes, throughout the whole thing.
They got a good spotlight in there,
right? Because
rightfully so,
because they are one of the people who started it, and one of the things they talk about is Hansi's voice and how it's a very unique sound, and how he was influenced by, I can't remember the cat's name from Accept. It'll come to me like just randomly, I'm sure, but
sure.
If not, we'll put it right there. And then it's just they were just saying how the guy from Accept had a very unique style, and then hearing him and kind of like helped influence Hansi to be like, hey, just you don't sing like a normal
pop singer
or whatever. Yeah, so like just sing the way you sing, and hey, accept has made it. So
we could do it too.
Yeah, if as long as as long as you've got the goods, not that you can sound like whatever you want, but you can, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it is a very unique sound, so I don't want to discount what you're saying, but I do know what you mean.
It makes it unique.
I did, yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
Not, like, just not palatable to the general population. I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get what you're saying.
they're cool, but there's like a big asterisk on Blind Guardian for me, because I mean, even though they were progenitors of a musical style that I love to listen to now, they're not the ones I want to listen to.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, I liken it to Fugazi. They like kind of.
I think you brought up Fugazi last time.
Yeah, I mean, because they are pivotal. They're like the emo punk sound that melded together, but a little bit slower, a little bit more dramatic than most of the emo stuff is now. Like,
never got into emo or punk,
they're
really.
different. They're different, and it's just not the example, but they were the bridge that kind of went there. Whereas like Led Zeppelin is a band you want to listen to, and they fathered so many different type of musical strains. It's ridiculous. So yeah, they're there, and it morphed into something that we love and that other people are finding interesting as well. But like, let's be honest, Sabaton has musical signatures that are very, hard rockish. But they're like that bridge back, and especially their most recent sound is definitely toned to be a large scale.
I've been listening to that. I've been listening to them and this past week since we've missed a week.
That album was
I've been listening to.
It was amazing.
That most recent Sabaton, was it The War to End All Wars, and the most recent Ghost. I listened to those two pretty much. Oh, and then that new Powerwolf song. That new shit's fucking cool.
Yeah, that was good.
That shit's fucking cool.
I think there'll be like people that are in their early 20s that get to our age, and they're gonna be like, that latest album by Sabaton and Ghost were like the Black Album. It was what like introduced a lot of new fans in, but it was the real sellout album. The Black Album for Metallica was just, a lot of people now say like that was the sellout album. Okay, fine.
Sure, whatever.
Definitely. But it's still amazing, and that makes it even better because so many people were willing to listen to it. Like, that doesn't make it worse. It's not a sellout album. It's like you just found your groove at the right place, right time, and people love your music now.
I think we've been very consistent on this. About and what you're saying is just the two things that we've been saying is.
There's no point in making unique music if nobody listens to it, or it's not that good.
Right,
Gunny.
This fucking guy.
What are you doing? This is our show.
Yeah. I kind of almost lost my train. But, yeah, like you're saying, it's like, who gives a fuck if you're making something that people like? What's wrong with making something people want to listen to? Like, I want to listen to some good fucking music.
Yeah, and like a lot of what I think is good music, a lot of other people think it's good too.
Yeah, like when I go to those jam shows, these guys are great musicians. I'm not taking anything away from them, but their songs, there's no, or very little crowd interaction. There's no like, or very little. Like I said, very little. There are a couple of songs where they're doing a hey, but it's like you're doing hays, but you're not singing a chorus with them, you know what I mean? So you lose that, and some of these songs are you can sing that shit, and we've gotten pretty far away from Blind Guardian.
So my point is that both of them are kind of forefathers of power metal, but Sabaton went what I think is definitive power metal. We'll end it there. Let's go into. I know they are definitive power metal. Dragon Force, Blind Guardian. But Sabaton is the biggest name in power metal right now.
Maybe, but I'm not. The trademark power metal sounds Sabaton does not do. Traditional power metal, to me, pure power metal sounds more like Hammerfall and Freedom Call than it does Sabaton.
Manowar?
Even Manowar
is more power metal-y than Sabaton.
Yeah, more pure. Like if you want.
But if you go from the Blind Guardian vein of music, then like you're going more choral.
But I'm saying, but like, that's what I'm saying. In my head, power metal is a more pure form of metal, and it follows that more traditional thread, which is why I think I like it. That you can follow the like that those thrash metal, those speed metal influences,
Yeah.
which is what I like. You know, those like early. I mean, you can hear, or you can see, the Black Sabbath, which you know, I'm just gonna say we'll just argue.
No,
We'll
absolutely
just
no.
say
I'm with you on
that
that
first.
argument.
We'll just say that first heavy metal band or sound is Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath stands on its own,
Yeah, well,
but definitely a forefather of the
but
things
you
that
can
came.
see that thread followed all the way through to power metal, and in the 80s is when I think that thread breaks out
Mm-hmm.
into way more threads.
Yeah.
But I think power metal keeps that pure sound, whereas grunge loses something, loses some intricacy, some instrumentation. Hair metal maybe keeps the intricacies, but maybe kicks up the speed a little bit, the theatrics maybe a little bit more, the you know what I'm saying, the glam aspects of it and whatever.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the alternative sounds, you lose a little bit of something, you go a little bit slower, a little bit darker. You can you know
Then
what
you
I'm
get
saying?
into doom.
Right, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You can see where these threads break off, but where I think power metal keeps that pure, like we I'm not this isn't my original thought. This is from that documentary.
No,
But
it's like
somebody was
it's
these are
like the most acceptable
it takes that
normal sound.
it takes that Dio or that Ronnie James Dio kind of rainbow in the dark kind of medieval
Meatloaf-ish.
themes, those and kind of says like that leather and steel and that sort of bullshit,
Yeah.
and takes that and just continues that on in music, whereas the other genres do something different. But that is quite the tangent.
Yeah, and I don't know where I stand. I'd have to
But-
like really think about how I feel. It's like an average palatable sound. I kind of think of Sabaton as the power metal, other way around. No, Sabaton. You might not like to hear this, but Sabaton is Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, probably are. Yeah.
There's an avenue that they hit, and they're like, let's apply the most popular version of this that we think can exist. Because you can't say Sabaton is experimental, really.
Yeah.
Because they dialed down what Blind Guardian was doing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, Sabaton's power metal, but not that they're less power metal or anything.
They're
just like
the best of the second generation
right.
of
They're
power
just
metal.
like a different generation of power metal. You know
I
what
can
I'm
agree
saying?
with that, but I think since they're the ones that made it what it is today.
Right, it's just like
They
I'm saying,
become
it's
a
just
forefather.
It's just a different generation.
Yeah.
They'll be the forefathers of whatever they
Spawn. Yeah. I hear you. There's a lot to say
But-
about Blind Guardian. I think that's what we're trying to say
Yeah.
here is like
I
we're
don't-
talking about it this much because Blind Guardian deserves that.
I
They're
love Blind Guardian. I don't want to talk shit about them.
they're pivotal. I can't really talk shit about them.
No,
But
let's move on.
Even so,
We
their
gotta
musical
move on.
signatures and things that
We gotta
they're
move
just
on.
We
We have to move on.
All right, so Under the Ice, what do you think?
I gave it a 7. I said this high score is coming strictly from a place of nostalgia, but it's like mid-tier Blind Guardian song. But this is one of those songs where I hadn't listened to it in 15 years, so it takes me back to literally 2003, putting it in my fucking grandma's computer
Yeah.
and listening to it. So this song is one of those songs where I was like, wow, I literally hadn't listened to it. So it was like, I liked this back in the day.
Yeah.
And so this was one of those ones where I was glad to go back to it, so I gave it a 7. But
All right, I like this song,
Mhm.
and every time I listen to it one more time, and I've only listened to it 4 times, but every time I listen to it,
you like it more?
I like it more.
Yeah.
It started off as a 5.
Yeah.
Then it moved to a 6.5.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it again, and it's like, oh my gosh, I really like this song. This is like one of the
Listen to
songs
this
that
song
I like
You listened to this 4
can
times?
sing to.
Yeah.
And it's desperate. So it's definitely my speed. I think I'd be. I think I'd be
BG chorus. I called a classic Blind Guardian chorus, which totally is.
Yeah, I think I'd be almost at like a 7.75.
Really?
That's good.
Yeah.
Would you give it?
I give it a 7.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I think
But it's like one of those deep cuts or whatever. You know what I mean?
This is a remaster.
Yeah, but
So it'd be interesting to know what the 2002 was. Hopefully they didn't just overlay another voice. I mean, like, come on, there's so many overlaid voices.
it sounded pretty true to my memory. Number 4, Sadly Sings Destiny. I gave this shit a 7. It's one of my like guilty pleasures once I listened to it again. But I didn't. That's all I.
Very
It's
singable.
It's a guilty pleasure, right? And I don't know, just being able to go through and sing these choruses again, or you know, I don't know if I was singing them because I was at the gym.
Yeah, it has a very like it's 3 words. It's like, and it goes really long and it's loud and they're like really belting it out.
Yeah,
but still with this drawn out feel. I give it a 6 out of 10. It probably doesn't escape too much more of that for me, even after 4 listens. So like, it's cool, and the first time you hear it, like you love the chorus immediately. Yeah. So the chorus is very likable, but I don't know. Never fails to escape itself. Which the next song is like funny because if I had any complaints, it would be like that this album goes full bore the whole time.
Yeah.
And this is probably the only song where they like have a proper build up.
Yeah.
And I give it a 4.5.
Oh man, I gave it a 7.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I gave it a 7. All right. What?
Let
me see. All right, go ahead and talk about it. Let me read this.
There's nothing to say here. It's kind of silly compared to the rest of it. Like, the lyrics are okay.
Yeah, it's very medieval and minstrelly. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like, every now and then, and I kind of said this earlier, but every once in a while they'll do a song that sounds like this, and I'm usually here for it. So the fact that there's one on this album doesn't really surprise me. And
it doesn't hit it out of the park for you.
But they typically do something like this. I say that, but you know what I'm saying.
I had to give one song below a 5 on this album, just because like the album deserves that little punch in the gut, even though it's still pretty awesome. Yeah. But this is the song I wanted to punch it in the gut for. Like, if there's any sword for it to fall on, it's this one.
And then there's a point at the it ends saying like the silliest lyrics. It's like, proudly we stand until the world's end, the victorious banner of love.
It is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at its heart, it's a love song.
Right. And I'm just too old for that shit now.
Yeah, it's too silly. For me, it's a little bit too silly.
Yeah.
It has the actual, like, this is like...
I can't believe I just sang that. I don't have that written down. I just pulled that shit out the top of my head.
Hell yeah,
I can't believe I did that.
Like, this has... If any of the songs have a Night at the Opera type of feel, this is kind of it.
Yeah.
That's a complaint about the album, too. It's like, yeah, well, yeah. That one for sure, because there is the violins and the...
Yeah. It's like the vocals, the layering, the, different...
Grows. It hurts
tons
after a while.
Yeah, I feel you. So up next, Wait for an Answer. This is probably the most average song for me. I listened to it. I was listening to it and I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't remember this song. So like, I didn't even really like it at the time.
Yeah.
And even going back, it was just like, whatever. I gave it a 6. It's okay, but it's not doing anything for me. What'd you give it?
I don't like this song.
Oh my god, no.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I mean, we're not far off.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of an average sounding song. It has a little bit more of a contemporary feel to it. It's not as Blind Guardian-y as Blind Guardian-y gets.
Yeah.
So like, I knew the first time I listened to it, I think I gave it a 5. Because I was like, it is just like... and I get a lot of album fatigue at this point.
Yeah, especially as long as these songs are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame.
It was originally 5. I like, but then I listened to it the fourth time. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we're getting album fatigue at this point because I don't think the album has peaked yet. I don't think it peaks until the end, which I've already said. But
sure.
I still think there's another good song, and we're coming to it now. The Soul Forged.
I gotta pee.
So now we're on song number 7, The Soul Forge, and legit, I love this song.
Yeah.
I think the intro is really cool. I'm not insane, but that's how it seems though.
Yeah.
I think those are just good lyrics. I think they're funny lyrics or catchy lyrics. That might not be the best way to put it, but
Yeah.
unique. I don't know. There's a word for it, but I'm too dumb to figure it out.
No, that's fine. What I liked about this song was that this one had that more rounded sound.
Mm-hmm.
I think they let the distortion on the rhythm go a little bit harder in this one. The musical composition lends itself to a little bit more of a palatable sound.
It sounds like a more complete song. Like,
yeah,
the chorus is catchy. I love the chorus in this, and the lyrics in that chorus are how they open it, and from the flames as chance would have it. For whatever reason, those lyrics just like
they set you off.
Yeah, you're like
yeah.
And from the flames as chance would have it.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
love the name of this song, like
cool.
Soul Forge. It's like someone hasn't just like forged their body, but like their soul is powerful. Like they're just a presence that is naturally existing, and they just embody power. Soul Forge, it's pretty fucking cool. I gave it a 7.5. My problem with it is the song is special, but there's not the truly special moments that a lot of Blind Guardian songs have. This is like a complete,
it's
more modern song.
Yeah.
In nature.
Yeah, the chorus is what that lead into the chorus, that jump into the chorus is what sets this album or this song apart. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, what did you give it?
I gave it an 8.
Yeah, all right. I mean, so
that part is like I really love that part.
To me, an 8 is a really good song. It's not special. 8s are good. You're happy, but it's close. It is, but it's just not there.
I'll be honest. When that chorus came in and listened to it for the first time, I was just like, I was just tickled to death.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear right now.
Exactly.
Thank you. You gave me what I wanted.
Exactly. All right, so up next, Age of False Innocence. What'd you give this bad boy?
Man, I give this song an 8.5.
I gave it a 5, but I have no description for it. I like this song a lot more, but by this point, like we've said, there's album fatigue setting in, and this song opens very slowly. This one opens with a piano.
Dude, let's talk about that piano sound. It sounds like a
really nice.
You could have that at the beginning of a Backstreet Boys song. No joke.
Yeah.
It is so... It's bad. I don't think it's good.
Oh.
Like, I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I do like it. I like it if it's the beginning of a Backstreet Boys song. Like, this doesn't belong here. It doesn't have that same medieval taste to it. It's more just like this soft.
Yeah, I feel
like, I was like, what is happening?
And
then I fell in love with the song. So like, don't get me wrong. I gave it an 8.5.
We're gonna need an I feel ya counter from me because there's a lot of I feel yas.
Yeah, like. You kind of poo-pooed on this more than I thought you would.
I know, because I poo-pooed it in my head.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, like, I want to poo-poo it as well.
I'm just beyond it. Which, it sounds so snooty.
No.
But...
No, like, this doesn't hold up to what's coming out.
Yeah,
I don't want to go back and listen to it.
It's just different.
It is just different.
Yeah.
And you appreciate what it
did. They are just a unique band with a unique sound, and they came into our lives at the right time, and things just lined up, and
we grew from them.
And we've just sort of moved on, and it is what it is.
But this song is still
up
awesome.
Next is Punishment Divine. I think about this song a lot. I think about the title a lot because for some reason I think of punishment a lot. And so whenever I think about it, I always just think Punishment Divine. I just think that's like a really cool thing to kind of like visualize.
Anything with divine in it, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it sounds silly. I want to play the beginning of that song real quick. It's like... And then they go into it, but there's almost this like new metal quality to it. They don't do that sound anywhere else in any of their albums. It's like a truly unique sound.
At least pre 2004.
Yeah.
What they've done since, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah. They just released a new song, but I feel you. I get what you're saying. God damn it, there's another one.
It's just weird. Just weird, like, and then it breaks away, and then they go into the typical Blind Guardian song. But I think that's the so cool that they finally did something really weird that you weren't expecting.
I do really like this song, even though I'm not really like talking about it. I do really like this song.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. But listen to it. Like, listen to that song.
You gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's better than a 5 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7.5 or 8.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I think so too. I think it's pretty
a
cool.
Really cool chorus. I don't know. It kind of the stuttering in the chorus. Joyful as seen, then suddenly, I don't know. It's pretty cool. But this, I want to move on to the next song.
Let's do it.
This is my favorite Blind Guardian song. Like I said, it's in like top 5, top 10 favorite songs. This is in my head. This is like 14 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, like 14 minutes and
14 minutes
6 seconds
of musical odyssey, word chosen intentionally, because this is basically like the story of the Iliad and Odyssey, or probably more like the Iliad.
So are you just like terribly impressed by the fact that they made a 14-minute song?
Yes, there is that. There are parts of it. I mean, the whole story, you know, like you just think about it, like what it is, just like the fall of Troy and all this stuff, and
the sirens,
right? And you just think about these things, and then there's like artistic license, the way they choose to summarize this already epic poem or story, and how do they want to turn it into their own epic poem or song, and I think they do a really cool job, and I think some of the lyrics that they do are fucking great. I don't know if I have them written down. I don't. But like, this is a 14-minute song, and unless I'm unable to, which sometimes happens, like I'm not able to, but I will listen to it start to finish, and I will either cry or get misty-eyed. I just can't help it.
Yeah,
and
you really dive deep into this song.
Yeah, but yeah, there's like a lyric in it where I'm just like, oh my god, I fucking. So no, it is just all right. So there's 9 minutes of build up, and then it releases at in that like 10 to 11 minute mark, and then there's like 2 or 3 minutes of release, or
draw down.
It's like a denouement or whatever. There's a name for it, but that's that what they call it in writing. But I'm just always like, oh my god, that's so fucking incredible. Oh my god, I want to find it. So this is the part that like gets me going. At the start it says, or during the build up, they say, "Don't you think it's time to stop the chase around the ring? Just stop running around the ring. Don't you know that fate has been decided by the gods? Feel the distance, out of reach." And that's kind of like the first moment where I'm like, yes, the fate has been decided by the gods. And then the rest of the story continues. Then there's the release, and legit, it is just like, I was about to fucking do it. but this song is a 10 out of 10 for me. I listen to it every time. I love it. And I remember seeing them live. I had noticed that they had been playing the song on the tour we were going to see him.
What an impressive song to play live.
And I was like, oh, there's a chance, because they weren't doing it every night.
That's kind of a creepy way that he came in. Yeah, they weren't doing it every night. They weren't
playing every night, and I was like, there's a chance, they didn't play it last night or whatever it was. And they played it, and I mean, I was just ecstatic. I was thrilled the entire time. They played it, it was a little shorter. It was like 12 minutes long, but they, because there's like some outro and intro and some stuff you can cut out here and there.
Cool.
They played the whole thing, and I just remember being like, yes, like just like so excited and looking around at everybody, and like people's faces are melting, and
They're like, really?
By the end of it, people are like, all right. But I just totally disagreed with everybody.
Yeah.
But I was so happy they played it.
I would. Yeah, I would.
And that's part of the reason why I probably don't. I didn't really like continue on with Blind Guardian. It's like, like you've already played the song live for me once.
That's all I was ever hoping for.
Yeah, like there's nobody ever plays a 12-minute song live. You know.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen anymore.
Right. But anyway, I've just talked for 10 minutes about.
No, that's fine. It's cool that you love this song that much.
I want to hear what you. I want to hear how much you don't like it.
Oh, I gave it 7.5 with an asterisk.
Okay,
I mean, so the asterisk is like nobody listens to this song regularly.
No, I mean, I listen to it probably the most out of anybody in the world.
Potentially.
Yeah, and I listen to it very infrequently.
I listened to it twice. Like, I was like,
yeah,
I know how long this is, but I gave it twice that I listened to it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And, with a 14-minute song, unless you're just, and you've already been listening to, 55 minutes of music, roughly, you're probably not going to be able to pay attention to this song very well. So that first time I went through, I mean, I listened to it, but I wasn't like, okay.
Yeah, by this point.
Oh, and then they do.
You've expended a lot of energy.
Yeah, I was just like, cool, I'm going to put it on. And it became just this melding of the entire album.
Yeah.
And, like, it's cool because it does take you on a journey, vocally, lyrically, musically. Like, you've got the typical Blind Guardian, slow intro-ish, build up. And it doesn't ever get as hard as any moment of the album, and it doesn't get as soft as any moment. They hit this just like really cool. We're gonna slow down. We're gonna have like almost a narrative happen, a conversation, and
it's very Bohemian Rhapsody, as in there's no traditional chorus. It is different segments.
Yeah,
that just segment A, segment B. They're connected, but they don't repeat.
But at the same time, it's not just 5 songs stringed together.
Right.
It's one song that they did for 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And somehow pulled it off.
Yeah.
So, like, to give a 14-minute song a 7.5 on its first go, that's, for me, like, that's a stretch. It has to be really good.
Mm.
It's cool, but, like, I haven't had the opportunity to feel it the same way you do. Because I would have to, like, be listening to simply the lyrics this next time. Because, like, with a song this long, like, the first thing you hear is the general sound. Because nobody intentionally listens to 14 minutes.
You should listen to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's
a lot of songs probably are that
the
way.
This song or this album or with Blind Guardian, it is at least. I don't know, even with the earlier stuff, they definitely reference some, literal medieval stuff like King Arthur type stuff.
Yeah.
Middle Earth type stuff.
It's weird because you feel like this band should be
things.
telling. You feel like this band should be telling more story-oriented stuff just because of the style, but it is still pretty generalized lyrics, which is weird. It's just weird. That's weird to me.
I think we should check out what they're doing now.
We should.
I don't know.
We could just have it.
I'm so hesitant to do it, but maybe one day.
It might disappoint you. I've listened to some of the recent stuff.
Yeah.
And
I'm always just like,
it just slid out of my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, it's whatever.
Rate the album for me.
Overall, it is quite an impressive piece of musical prowess.
Precedent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next word is.
Provenance. It has provenance. The word is always provenance.
No, for you. But it's definitely impressive what they did, what they've committed to tape, or whatever.
Subjectively,
I would give it probably like a 7.5 or a 7.
And then the unbiased ranking?
It's a tough album to give to just like a person off the street and be like, hey, come check out this band Blind Guardian.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to look at it like that, this is not the Blind Guardian album to give somebody.
Yeah.
You'd probably have to give it like a 5 or something.
Okay.
If you're just trying to get somebody into the band, this isn't the way to go.
Yeah, so subjectively, provenance, the things like it being pivotal for me, yeah, 7.5.
Yeah.
And then I'm with you. I'm at like a 5.5. And the 0.5 is just literally that it is this kind of next step towards a new style of music.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm
But like it's like you said, it's hard to like make someone listen to.
that. What I was gonna say was
There's not a single song that I would let Kim listen to on this. Like I would just know that she would not think it was good.
Yeah. It's like I think you would like maybe the chorus once it kicks in, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
But
it's too different.
Yeah.
For the average person, especially.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got to say.
Yeah. It was good. I like it, but I don't listen to Blind Guardian much anymore.
Same here. Through the magical powers of editing, we are here with our Wheel
of
Destiny. Thank you, man.
I'll let you take that one.
In any case, so we just went over Blind Guardian, which was a wheel choice, which is a departure from the last 2 albums.
Yeah.
So
let's bust this bad boy.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna give you honors, even if you don't deserve it.
Oh.
Or if it's not your turn. Even if it's not your turn, you can have it.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be an asshole.
Here we go.
Come on, Church of the Cosmic Skull.
That's what I was hoping for.
That's what I was.
hoping
Yeah, that's
for.
funny. Come on, B. Oh, that's embarrassing. Spin again. So, well, actually, maybe that's what we do. All right. So here's what happened. We've spun Wasp: The Last Command already a few weeks ago, and we recorded it, and it was a large technical failure, and it hasn't made it to press, and it never will. So we need to make a decision right here and right now. Do we do this? Or
I want
we move
to
on?
Because I loved Wasp.
I'm down. I think that they deserve a show.
I do too.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it to it.
Well,
all right, so we're going to do Wasp, The Last Command. What was that, 1985, I think?
Yeah, I think it was the year I was born.
I think so.
And they're very fun. Maybe one of the funnest bands you can listen to still.
Anyway, we can get into all that next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Last Command. We're going to finish with a shot.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Where is it? Did I put it away?
Yeah, I think you put it away.
I did put it away.
That was a very dramatic sound there.
That's what I do.
Dramatic sounds.
Dramatic shit.
Ooh, there you go. Well done.
I'm covered in fucking dog hair.
Let's pour it right in front of the microphone. Aww. Now. That was a little... I called the shot too early. Dangerous. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Got it right that time, Mark. Ooh,
Nipples aren't...
goosies.
I did get goosies, but there they go. They're getting hard, but it wasn't as nearly as...
That's just because you started thinking about them. Nice spin move.
Think about you. All right. So that was Mastering Mediocrity, music reviews, reviewing.
No, you gotta start over.
This A Night at the Opera. I'm Ben. That's Jeff. Hit the like button.
He's still
subscribe.
going. He's still
Tell
going.
Your mom.
He
Tell
won't
my
stop.
mom.
He won't
Watch
stop.
the show.
He's
Let's
not
do it.
stopping. Thanks for watching.
What's that?
I don't
All right,
know.
all right.
It was kind of a combination between like helping the kids like that are poor in the world and
I
our
heard- I
buttholes from
think
our
you-
OnlyFans.
No, I thought your like your stomach made a noise, or like you farted.
I don't know what you're talking about.